David mentioned the OMP, which is the Obsolescence Management Plan. That is kind of a massive subject, I would imagine. Can you just give me a brief overview of whoever sets it, whether it's an external company like Alan Webb that does it for a client, or whether there's an obsolescence management level within a business? So what would be in an obsolescence management plan in general?
Basically, the obsolescence management plan is the most important document in obsolescence management process, the whole process, because it defines the way you do it. What you tend to see is the general things like an introduction. You'll definitely see the project details, what the project's about, the timing of it. One of the key things to have in the project obsolescence management plan is to have what's in scope and what's out of scope. So in scope could be just design and manufacture. Out of scope, for example, could be spares or something like that. But it's very important you actually define the scope of what you're trying to, what the plan's describing. You'll have in it also how you're going to manage that program, what you're going to do in terms of deliveries, the obsolescence management tools or capabilities you're going to provide, including how you're going to do the risk assessment, how you're going to do the impact assessment, how you're going to look at the reports you're going to produce. So all that forms part of the obsolescence risk assessment and reporting activity. You have a communications element to it, to say how you're going to communicate with both internally within your organization and with your customer, and then also down the supply chain. You're going to, in the obsolescence management plan, you'll put in there also how you're going to manage your suppliers. And then finally, we're looking at the how we're going to do any cost incentivization, cost metrics. To the obsolescence management plan should define how you're going to accumulate costs, how you're going to look at metrics to show that the obsolescence management plan and your obsolescence management capability actually works. And then finally, and this is more to do with the bigger sustainment programs, is what they call transition. And transition is when a project that you've got responsibility for ends and it could go to another support organization. You should have the way how you're going to transition the data you've got into available for another organization. So in essence, it is the most important document you have to manage obsolescence. It isn't a small document. For a fairly small piece of equipment, I would expect to see something like 20 to 30 pages. If it's a major piece of equipment, certainly above 60 to 100. Now, as far as assessments are concerned, companies like Alan Webb do assess obsolescence management plans. We also write them. Normally, it will be the customer your obsolescence management plan goes to who will assess your obsolescence management plan. And it's it's assessed against the criteria in 62402 2019.
Right. Within the IEC 62402 standard, there is a section on obsolescence management plans and what you'd expect to see in there. And in one of the annexes, there is an example of how to lay out an obsolescence management plan with all the headings. And it's just a question of them populating those headings. But as David said, Alan Webb do work with clients to develop the OMPs, but it's one of those plans where you need to be an integral part of the business. You can't just write it in isolation. You need to understand. So we tend to, it takes us about 5 days to write an OMP with 2 or 3 days working with the client directly. So we cover all aspects of the project delivery from an obsolescence standpoint.